Chosen Nation Sport. This is your boy Mujero Waiti, just an ordinary guy discussing the beautiful game as I know it. Yeah. Round off or recap of the weekend that was. Raboni, we did a review or preview of the big match on Sunday. But a couple of games played that I want us to touch there and there, and I want us just to also review the season. I think we halfway the season, especially the EPL season. I'm not talking about the PSL. The PSL, it's somehow over. As I said last week, Sundowns have won the league. So what can you say? What can you say? The match that played on Saturday, Kaizer Chiefs, Mamelodi Sundowns. I think the only positive things that Coach Atazwane can take out of that match is his team created chances. They created so many chances, but unfortunately they couldn't convert them. As I said before, Chiefs really need a striker, and we are not ready as Kaizer Chiefs to support to compete with Mamelodi Sundowns. We are not ready. We are not even there. We are still far. I sent out a tweet saying, "Or as Kaizer Chiefs fan, I think the more or the earlier we accept, or some Mamelodi Sundowns is still far away from us. The better we save ourselves from the heart attack, the high blood, and all those things." So yeah, congratulations to Mamelodi Sundowns once again for winning the Premier Soccer League, DSTV Premier Soccer League. Kaizer Chiefs is back to the drawing board. I don't know how long must we say go back to the drawing board. And an interesting video as a match during the week here. Jabu Matlangwe, aka Jabu Pule, Abalela Hore, Sundowns is ruining South African football. He's ruining Bafana squads. I think if you look at it, he wants FIFA fair play. I don't think we'll ever get it in the PSL because FIFA play requires a lot of administration that I don't think some big teams or some teams will be able to share that information with us, the public. As for example, information, how much are they paying the players, like salary on a weekly salary or whatever they're paying them, might be weekly, might be monthly. I don't think PSL is ready to disclose that information. I think also it's someone, I was listening to the radio the other day and they were like, your relatives must never know how much you earn, otherwise what will abuse as black tech. So we're still far from that. And the transfer amounts, I don't think we South African football, we are there yet. So fair play, I don't think anytime soon in the PSL. Definitely not anytime soon. My take on the statement that Jauma Tango or Jahupule made already, Sundowns is ruining SA football. My take is simple. I've been saying this for a couple of years now. I agree with him. Somehow I disagree with him. If you look, for example, the downfall like Kaizer Chiefs, it is not because of Kaizer Chiefs doesn't have money. It is not because Kaizer Chiefs can't afford to spend or sign quality players. It's just bad management from Kaizer Chiefs' side. If you look at the deals the Kaizer Chiefs have done in the past, if you look at the deals they could have done in the past, and compare them, you would see that something is just off. Something was just wrong. We preferred going to Zimbabwe. I'm sorry. I'm not belittling Zimbabwe players. Obviously, in Kaizer Chiefs, especially in South Africa, we've had fantastic and great Zimbabwean players. But I'm just saying, instead of getting someone in the PSL who's already accustomed to PSL, already knows the style of play here, then you go buy someone in the foreign league and bring them here. So the decision thoughts on there's a lot of players in Lankamu PSL would have loved to play for Kaizer Chiefs. They even went on record to say, I would love to play for Kaizer Chiefs and quality, but they never went for that deal because it was expensive according to them. So it's not only that. Yes, somehow I agree with him. Yes, Mamelodi Sundowns are killing South African football, are turning the PSL into a farmers league, because I had someone complaining that who would have looked at Mvala, who would have looked at, he mentioned a few, it was Mvala and who's the other one? Modau and Mukwena. My point is, we're not saying Mamelodi Sundowns is taking only quality players. They are also crippling the other teams because they're taking their star players. They're taking someone that the team builds around. If someone is outstanding in his team, he doesn't have to be a star, but he makes the team tick. He's a leader in his team. Mamelodi Sundowns go and buy him and bring him into Mamelodi Sundowns. Now, what happens to that team? Because they were building the team around him. So now it suffers because Mamelodi Sundowns has taken the best out of their team. Not the best in the country, not the best of the best, but the best at that team. I get if I'm making sense. So, okay, for example, let's say there's 5 of us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we've got a CM, let's say a CM, a center taking midfielder, and he's a star player. He makes the team work, he makes the team tick, he's got leadership skills. When he's around, the team plays nice, positively. But there are better people or better players in that position here high. But because he's at our team, a smaller team, he works for us. He makes us tick. Her Dalali opponent, he is the playmaker here, our team. But he's not the best of the best. Mamelodi Sundowns goes and take him. For us as a small team to go and replace that player, it's gonna take us for a while to do that. And meanwhile, Sundowns, and whereas Renaro, we've been crippled there. So now it means when we meet Mamelodi Sundowns or when we meet other PSL teams, we will not be comparable because we are missing. Well, first time, I don't know if I made sense to you guys, but yeah. But anyways, it's not only about the players, it's about management, it's about the structure behind the team. Someone was just mentioning some other PSL teams don't even have good training facilities. How do you expect them to compete against the best of the best? So it's that's what I'm saying. The PSL it need its own episode just to discuss, maybe diagnosed and do maybe do more research, and we tackle it bit by bit. We start from the top, we go down until we reach the players. I think the players are the last people that we need to be speaking about in terms of the money that Mamelodi Sundowns has thrown around. So the players are the last people that we need. But when we start from the top, I think that's where the problem lies. So yeah, we'll speak about it some other time. So yeah, moving right along. Saturday, Chelsea visited Anfield. Liverpool 0-0. I wouldn't say dull draw, but it wasn't an exciting match. But obviously you saw Chelsea's new signing, Modric. Oh, what a player, guys. I think I've seen 30 minutes there high, and I'm already excited to see more of him. I think he's going to be a nuisance this season. I think Chelsea, if Potter can just get his starting lineup right, they've signed 6 players. So if he can get his starting lineup properly all right, I think they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. I'm not sure about this season, the remainder of this season, maybe next season. I'm not sure about this season, but probably next season, I think he's going to get his ducks in a row and he will have a best 11 year talent that will compete with the likes of Arsenal and Manchester City and us, Manchester United. So Chelsea gave Liverpool a run for their money. A goal was scored, obviously, ruled offside. Like Bazero says, Liverpool are missing key players, and that's what a lot of Liverpool supporters are saying, especially in the front. He says and he's right. The season is still far from over. We are halfway through the season. We still have 18 more games to play, so they can still come up. They can still enter top 4. So the top 4 race is really opening up. But you need to take your chances, or you have to be more healthy to compete. You can't say you're gonna compete if you are 12 or 11 points come around. So you need to also pick up momentum because the team above you are also picking up momentum, and it'll be very hard for you to come up. Now your Brentfords are coming up, your Fulhams are coming up, your Brighton, and they're playing good football. Those teams, for whatever current form you want, it's good. They're gaining momentum. They're winning games. So it's going to be easy for Chelsea and Liverpool just to climb up the ladder if they're not playing good. And they need to prey on other people for their own because they can't do that if other teams are also performing. So they need to prey on other teams to do them favors. And we saw Haaland scoring a hat-trick, 4th hat-trick in the season already. Halfway through the season. He's already scored 24 goals, if I'm not mistaken. 25 goals. Halfway through the season, he's already scored 25 goals. And he hasn't played, I don't think he played 20 games. He's maybe played 15 because he was injured some other time. So, yeah, Manchester City, 5 points behind Arsenal. And Arsenal with the game in hand, so they could stretch the lead to 8 points. Arsenal over City. This is why last week the Crystal Palace match between Man United and between Man United and Crystal Palace was very important for Erik ten Hag and his men to get the 3 points, because now we are far now. We are 39. We are 10 points behind, 11 points behind. Is it 11 points? Yeah, 11 points behind. And with the game with like an extra game that we played over Arsenal, that's like 4 games. 3, 6, 9. Yeah, 4 games. Arsenal need to lose and we need to win in order to catch them. You see, it's gonna be a mountain to climb for Erik ten Hag's team. And you've seen how they performed. I like to go to the match yesterday. You've seen how they performed Sunday against Arsenal. I think that was, for me, it was maybe it's a Super Sunday, and it was an exciting match. What a way to end Sunday, watching Arsenal and Manchester United. Hence, I said that on my last video, I am very much excited for these two teams. Now they are back on top where they belong. I'm not saying anyone else, but I'm saying I grew up watching Manchester United versus Arsenal. Those were the true rivals that we saw. Wenger versus Fergie. Now it's Arteta versus Eric. And it was an exciting match. Goals were there. The one-on-one battles were there. I think Arsenal forwards, Saka and Martinelli on the other side, but Saka, I felt sure Nasa Mfagele a lot of pressure. It was just pedaling back. I don't understand why. I've never understood that defending, or when a defender comes to you, or when an attacker comes to you, and as a defender you pedal back. I've never understood that, because you are pedaling back, and at the end of the match, you mirror to come into the 18 area where you can make mistakes, make a penalty. Why not tackle him or do whatever you want to do outside the penalty box instead of pedaling back? So I've never understood that kind of defending. But anyways, Odegaard, guys, I don't know what more I can say about Odegaard. Partey with the sprint is dangerous. Going to defend, I never knew Partey had such sprint. I think 3 Arsenal players on his way to go and defend back. So Partey was exceptional. Odegaard, Bona, Saka, Martinelli was just average for me. And they went to the bench. The game was deadlocked. This is what I'm saying when we speak about depth. When we speak about depth, this is what we exactly mean. The game was deadlocked. You needed someone to change the game. And where you go, you can only go to a bench. Arsenal went and fetched Trossard. Trossard came in and he was part of the build-up leading up to the goal. Man United, they don't have anyone. They only have kids on the bench. They have Garnacho, Elanga, Pelistri. So, but enough for now. I'm saying Eric should have just thrown them in. He doesn't have a choice. I think to an extent, last 10 minutes, I think Eric maybe Nanyaka draw, and which would have been a nice result, especially in the Emirates, like this high-flying Arsenal team. So he would have taken a draw from there. But unfortunately, Arsenal this season, as Kaleko, they've got a never-die attitude. So they went and they grabbed the winner, Edin Ketia, on the day, getting a break. So Arsenal, they've only got 1 loss this season. 1 loss. And obviously, like who inflicted that loss to them. So it was a great game overall. I really enjoyed it. It was full of games. A brilliant goal by Marcus Rashford as well. So Arsenal is still their league to win. I think they are there now. It's theirs to grab. Now they have to play Manchester City. Those 2 games against Manchester City, I think those are the ones that are going to decide where the title goes. Unless if Arsenal bottle it up, which this season, then now I was reluctant. Start of season, the club was like, Arsenal. We are used to this Arsenal. They're going to do the same thing that they do every single year. But now you can see there's been progress. Now you can see the teamwork that is in the team. Zinchenko, he was on the flank, on the left. Wan-Bissaka, like they were Wan-Bissaka's flank. Now I attack at that side because of Zinchenko was more forward than Ben White and Tomiyasu was. So, anyways, yeah, those were results. Arsenal being the big winners of the weekend, obviously. Just Manchester City just behind them with 5 points, and Newcastle and Man United level on 38 points, 39 points. So it's gonna be an interesting one. The top four, the race for the title. So yeah, I just want to speak about something here, winning that I found interesting today. You know what? Before that, Terry Henry said something that I love. Terry Henry is an Arsenal legend, but that comment that he made on Sunday, I felt touched. I was like, yeah, you know what? We need more, because he's an analyst. He's a soccer analyst as well. So I'm like, we need more of Terry Henrys. We don't need someone alone is going to be biased because of his team was playing. He said, we could tell that the two teams that were playing, one was a 3-year project, the other one was a 6 months project, and you could tell the other one had a full week's rest and the other one didn't have a full week rest. And he thought Arsenal was going to be all over Man United. They're going to beat them 3. But he saw Eric's men coming. I'm paraphrasing. He saw Eric's men coming and giving Arsenal a fight at the Etihad Stadium without Casemiro, by the way. And he was very impressed. He said, give Ten Hag financial backing, give Ten Hag your support in the next few years. And he says, I don't mean any disrespect to Alex Ferguson, but we're going to see a Manchester United playing fantastic and nice football. That's Terry, Arsenal legend. If you don't believe me, go Google it. I think he was speaking on BBC Sport. That's what he said, and he was right. Manchester United played midweek, played weekend. I think that's how we're gonna play from now on. 3 games a week. So Arsenal were well rested, and it was they've got 3 years playing together, those teams. Okay, not all of them, but it's a 3-year project. Ten Hag has only been 6 months into the club. Already he's fourth. 2 weeks back, people were speaking of Manchester United being title contenders. Since 6 months. This is the best of Manchester United we've seen since Alex Ferguson. Obviously, Mourinho will win the Europa League, but like the way they play as a team, not as individuals. This is one of the best teams that we've ever seen, the Manchester United, after the era of Ferguson. So yeah, coming back to my point. So the review of the season. This let us speak about the review of the season. By now, who do you think would win player of the season? At this point, because we're halfway there, who do you think would win player of the season? Who would you think would win manager of this? If the season would end now, who would you give it to? Let me know what you think in the comment section. I'm gonna give you my top 5. I'm gonna give you I don't know, I think it's from BCC or Sky Sports. I might be wrong. I stand to be corrected. So yeah, I'm gonna give you the odds. Take it today on social media. So I'm gonna give you my top 5. You give me your top 5 as well. Who do you think now your top 5 top players? Give me your winner and give me the other 4. Managers as well, give me the winner and give me your other 4. I'm gonna do the same thing. And remember, don't forget to like before you and subscribe. We just want the likes and the subscribes. Okay, fine. This is what they said. They said Haaland, now agree odds, has got 1.53 odds to win the EPL player of the season. That's Haaland. Odegaard, he comes second with 4.5 odds. KDB, Kevin De Bruyne, 8.0 odds. Bukayo Saka, 9.0 odds. Rashford, 11.0 odds. The top 5. That is the top 5 that they've issued out. So, according to whoever was doing this, Erling Haaland is going to win not top goal scorer, he's going to win the player of the season. Let me leave it sink in. And when at home, think of it. Erling Haaland is the number 1 favorite to win the player of the season this year. I don't want us to answer it quickly. I want us to digest it, think of it, look at all the teams, and look at the performance, and look at, this is my criteria. This is okay, fine. This is how I look at it. I'm looking at a player who has improved his team's performance, who has contributed to his team's success, even though they haven't won anything yet. We're halfway through the season. But I'm just saying, who has been that player for you? You can have yourself as well at home in the comment section. Give me your top 5. I'm going to give you my top 5. I'm going to give you my top 5. All right. Number 5. For me, number 5. It will be Bruno. I think it's Bruno Guimaraes, if I'm not mistaken. I might be getting his pronunciation wrong. The Newcastle midfielder. He's my number 5. Look at where Newcastle are. They third on the log. 11 on points with Manchester United. He's been brilliant for that team. He's been scoring crucial goals. He's been giving them assists. He's improved Newcastle. Not only him, it's a team sport. But for me, he's been the outstanding player in the Newcastle team. So I'm gonna, number 5, I'm gonna say Bruno Yanaola. He's gonna be my 5th player. My 4th, number 4. Legana Lampolaya. Casemiro. Guys, have you seen the impact of Casemiro in that United team? We've been crying for a CDM from Manchester United. We finally have not just a CDM, a world-class CDM. You've seen on Sunday, we've missed Casemiro on Sunday. We might have not, for me, I don't that much, but you could tell that he was not there. Scott did his job. He did a simple job, but you could see he's not Casemiro. And I'm not comparing Scott with Casemiro, guys. Don't get me wrong. But I'm saying, compared to what Casemiro gives you and compared to what Scott gives you, there is a huge difference between the two. I cannot compare those. Anyways, I'm just saying, Casemiro has improved Manchester United. The centre backs have been stable. He's been stable with them. And for me, I'm putting him as my number 4. Number 3. I think this is where it becomes tricky. I think this is where it becomes tricky for me. Thomas Partey. Number 3. I'm writing it down. Number 3, Thomas Partey. Sbanan sent this screenshot of since Thomas Partey has been fit for Arsenal this season, Arsenal hasn't lost a game. The only game that Arsenal has lost, Partey was not there. Old Trafford. That's how influential he is on his team. The only game Arsenal has lost, Thomas Partey was not there. That was the game back then. Old Trafford. That's the only game that they lost. So Partey, for me, has been one of the outstanding players this season. Has been one of the most outstanding players this season. So he's there. Number 2. Number 2. Udokotela. My number 2 is the good doctor. Rashford. For me, this season, Rashford he has improved. Besides being improved, he's been consistent. Negelwala Bazero yesterday, and I was just telling him, I don't have a problem with Rashford. The only problem I have with Rashford is he's not being consistent. He gives you a high performance, he gives you high hopes, and then the next game he comes and then he flops. But this season, for some reason, Erik ten Hag has gotten the better of Marcus. He's gotten the best out of Marcus. He's leading the charge for Manchester United. He's scoring goals for Manchester United. So, he's my number. And like I've got 2 number 2s. I'm gonna put Haaland there. I'm gonna put him there. We must never take away from, for example, we must never take away from Haaland. Haaland is a deadly striker. He's an exceptional goals poacher. Haaland in the game, and then he gets a chance, like a chance, a sniff at goal, and he scores. But for me, he's not my number one. The second I've got a number two to pick. It's Rashford and Haaland. Haaland's goal, obviously, he's breaking records, goal scoring records, but there's a huge but. Hence why he's not my number one. Because where is City now? Has City improved since Haaland actually left Manchester City? I'm leaving you with that question. Has he improved City? Or is City playing worse now that they've got Haaland than Gamco we would have anticipated? Because remember, when he started last year, and people were saying he was already scoring goals, people say, guys, City are gonna win the league in August because of Haaland. They're gonna run away with it. That's how confident they were that Haaland is gonna win them the league. But for me personally, he hasn't improved Manchester City. Instead, Manchester City perform worse with Haaland. Haaland is a one-dimensional player. Haaland doesn't know how to track back. Haaland doesn't know how to defend. He doesn't know how to do link-up plays. He's an exceptional goal scorer. Don't get me wrong. He's an exceptional goal scorer. Haaland, if he gets a sniff at goal, he scores. But the other qualities he doesn't have. So for me, he is number two with Rashford. My number one. I think a lot of people who've been listening to me, who've been watching the EPL, would agree with me. Would agree with me that this guy, the captain of Arsenal, Martin Odegaard, number one. For me, player of the season so far. He's improved Arsenal. He's gotten his assists. He's gotten his goals as well. I think he was passing it to Shaka, if I'm not mistaken. That was like, they showed it in slow-mo. Like the vision Fanula, that boy, yes. Martin, yes. For me, he's been the outstanding player this season. Not taking away anything from the team that Mikel Arteta has built. Boshaka, Martinelli, everyone has contributed to the success. Arsenal where it stands now, but obviously there has to be one that outshines or one that is outstanding to the others. And for me, Martin Odegaard takes the cup for me. He's my number one. Obviously, my manager of the season, I'm gonna start from number one. It's obvious, Mikel Arteta is gonna take number one. Like, you see how they play. Pep, number two. Number three, Eric. Number four, who's this guy? Newcastle boss, Eddie Howe. And number five, I think people might see this as a surprise, but for me, he deserves to be on the top five. Thomas Frank, Brentford manager. Brentford this season has been exceptional, and for me, he gets the number 5 spot for me on the top managers. So, guys, let me know. Send me your comments on the comment section. Let me know who you think currently as the season, who's been an outstanding player for you, who has been your player of the season, who has been your manager of the season. Do you agree with me? If you do, remember, hit the like button. Hit the like button, asshole. Yeah, and remember, until we meet again, I promised you guys a transfer window video, but I think he said let me wait for the transfer to finish so that we can tackle all of them, so that we can see who are the winners, who are the losers of the January transfer season. Until we meet again, remember, prevention is better than cure. Don't risk it unless it's worth it. Ciao.